What's going on, guys? Back again today because I've been hearing some news in the comic book world that rumor has it, DC Comics is going to be doing a ultimate style line of comics, similar like what Marvel has done in the past and is currently doing now with ultimate, their new Ultimate Universe. I did a video not too long ago on this channel saying that DC should definitely do an Ultimate Universe line of comics, an Ultimate Universe style line of comics. There's no way they're gonna call it Ultimate DC. Um, I did a video recently about this, and now we're hearing about it. I'm not saying I had anything to do with it. I'm just saying like, what are the odds? It's interesting because there's a lot of things going on in the world of comics right now. For one, the industry is tanking, but there's promise on the horizon. Uh, Pretty much every single piece of worthwhile talent at DC Comics up and left to go form Ghost Machine under Image Comics. And if you're not paying attention to the Ghost Machine stuff, Ghost Machine #1 just came out uh, in comic book stores. You can go get it today. I would definitely head to your local comic book shop and check it out. If you're into comics, even if you're not, but you kind of want to be, like Ghost Machine is looking like it's going to be very promising. So I highly recommend you go check that out. But between what they're doing with Ghost Machine, Eric July's Rippaverse, and then now Marvel has also started a new Ultimate Universe line of comics, it makes sense that DC would follow suit and be like, we got to shake things up and do something here, or else we're going to fall by the wayside. Because I'll be honest with you, in the past 10 years, DC's had it the worst in terms of the comic book sales and storylines, and it's just been, oh god, it's been terrible. DC's shit has been terrible the last decade, uh, and did not look like it was going to be getting any better. But this is promising news. I hesitate to even call it news because at this point it's just a rumor. Apparently, the word is they're going to be doing an Ultimate Style universe with Scott Snyder at the helm running it. Scott Snyder, for those of you who don't know, he is the guy who gave us one of the greatest Batman comic book runs of all time with the New 52 run of Batman. It was so popular and so successful that when Jeff Johns and Gary Frank ended up being late as fuck on their Doomsday Clock book and they needed something to fill in the gap, they went to Scott Snyder and were like, yo, can you do a story to kind of like be released right now because they're super fucking late getting this Doomsday Clock book out. And he wrote Dark Knight's Metal. Now, I am not the fan. I'm not a fan of Dark Knight's Metal. I love Scott Snyder's run on Batman. It's himself, that character, but I'm pretty much not a fan of anything else Scott Snyder's ever done. I do agree that his New 52 run on Batman is fantastic. It might be my favorite Batman run ever, but I don't like death metal, but a lot of people did, and it proved to be so successful that DC basically said, let's forego Doomsday Clock and just fuck off, like tell that original plan to fuck off, and let's give Scott Snyder the keys to the kingdom. And they did, and he took them and he ran with it, and he reinvented the entire cosmic origin backstory of DC Comics and created these characters called the Hands and Perpetua, and it all culminated with Dark Knight's Death Metal, which is just like, oh, it was such a fucking cringe story. Like, it was bad. Everything Scott Snyder did post his his New 52 Batman run has not been that great. But it's a catch-22 because his New 52 Batman run is so great. So I know the dude can write comics. I just think that it's like he had a lot of very unique original ideas for DC. And DC is an established thing, right? Like they've done a lot of reboots over the years, but for the most part, like not even for the most part, like pretty much definitively, the current canon continuity of DC Comics starts with Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1985-86, right? Like they tried to do a fresh reboot jump start with the New 52, but they ended up going back on it and essentially blended it into the pre-New 52 canon, which was Crisis on Infinite Earths and post-Crisis. So the current mainstream DC continuity has so much precedent set down in it that for Scott Snyder to just come in with his unique original ideas and just reinvent the whole thing, it was never going to gel. It was always going to create contradictions and continuity errors and plot holes. So, with that being said, this idea of starting a brand new DC universe where it's brand new. So he can take his original unique concepts and ideas and implement them there because it's a fresh start, it's a brand new jumping on point. So he might be the guy for the job. But Scott Snyder also did a comic book storyline called Batman Last Night on Earth, which is it's like Batman meets Mad Max. It's post-apocalypse Batman. And I don't know. I'll put it this way. I'll just be straightforward and blunt. I've said this about the Marvel Ultimate Universe. I've said this about their new Ultimate Universe. I've said this so many times about both DC and Marvel. I am of the opinion that when it comes to these big franchises that have been around for a very long time, like DC, Marvel, arguably even Star Wars, if you want to keep it fresh and keep it alive and keep it going forever, every generation of fans needs to have like their own story of it. So what that means is, in my opinion, let's use DC as an example since that's what we're talking about here. Every 25 years of real time, you should shake the Etch-a-Sketch hard as fuck on DC and the story of DC, and you should start it completely the fuck over from the very beginning back at square one. You can wrap up the past 25 years of continuity with a nice conclusion story, tie it up neat with a bow on it, and then shake the Etch-a-Sketch, do a hard reboot, reset the timeline, start back at the beginning. But what you have to remember is what has been the reason that this franchise and these characters have survived for so long is because there is something inherently in the characters themselves and the way that they are that it's perfect the way they are. So you can't go fucking with it too much. Just because, yes, it's been 25 years and it's time to do a hard reset and a reboot and a fresh start does not mean that you can just go all new, all different, crazy, radical new shit. You're pretty much, every 25 years of real time, you're pretty much just going to be retelling the exact same story, the literal exact same goddamn motherfucking story that you just told for the past 25 years. You're just going to update it to fit modern times. You're going to ask yourself, what's different about the world today that wasn't going on in the world or the world didn't include 25 years ago? What is different about this modern day and age, the modern day we're living in right now, that's different about the past? You're taking the exact same story from the past 25 years and the 25 years before that and the 25 years before that and the 25 years before that, and you're just adapting it. You're making subtle, slight tweaks and adjustments to adapt it to your current day and age. That's it. The characters should stay the same, their races should stay the same, their genders should stay the same, their sexuality should stay the same, their personality should stay the same, their beliefs and their motivations for being the characters that they are should stay the same. Everything should stay the same. The only things that should get changed is the world that they live in. Like, you know, a comic book universe that was started in 1985 would not include cell phones or the internet. But a comic book universe that started in 2025 would include all that shit. And it would be relevant to the world that these characters interact with because it's a big deal in 2025. Everyone's got a fucking smartphone and everyone's got the internet in their pocket. Shit like that. You have to take into account how the world has changed in the past 25 years and you adapt the story. You take the exact same story, the exact same fucking story from the past 25 years and you just retell it in a new modern day. That's it. And the only other thing you can change is if some characters' costume designs and looks have not aged well over the past 25 years, you can make tweaks and adjustments to update them give them a new modern look. Other than that, though, you don't change anything. You don't change fuck all anything else. But I'm worried that's exactly what they're gonna do with this ultimate line of DC that they're gonna do. I have a feeling that it's not going to be a traditional retelling of the DC that we all know and love. I have a feeling it's going to be some very radically different, all new, changed up, wacky version. When we already have that in mainstream DC. Mainstream DC has gotten so fucking ridiculous. Like, what we need is a traditional, classic, reminiscent of the good old days DC universe. So if they give us that in the form of this new Ultimate universe, if they take this new Ultimate style universe and they make it very traditional and very reminiscent of the good old days and what we loved about DC in the past, the stuff that's like concrete and established, if they make it very traditional, just adapt it for a modern day, then I don't care anymore what they do with mainstream DC, because I'll have my traditional Ultimate style line. But I don't think that they're going to do that, because you know why? Because Marvel didn't do that. Marvel just started their new Ultimate universe. And is it a very traditional, pretty much just copy and paste retelling of the previous Marvel Universe story, just updated for modern times? No, it's radically all new, all different. The new Marvel Ultimate Universe is basically the whole premise of the new Marvel Ultimate Universe is, what if all the Marvel heroes got a late start being Marvel heroes? What if they all started their careers as Marvel superheroes about 20 years late? That's basically the gist. What if Thor was in prison and he didn't become Thor until 20 years later than he was supposed to? What if Spider-Man never got bit by the spider when he was 15 and he doesn't become Spider-Man until he's 33 years old, married to Mary Jane, has kids with her? Like that, it's just, what if the heroes got started being heroes late? That's the whole premise of the new Marvel universe. And it's so radically different that it's not going to scratch the itch for all the fans out there who are tired of these just like radically different, change it up, like try new shit for the sake of trying new shit. Like, there are so many fans out there who just want you to get back to the basics, Marvel and DC. We just want you to get back to the traditional basics. Update some characters' costumes because some of them haven't aged well. They look like ass, and make it fit into the modern day and age, modern times. But other than that, like, make sure that the dialogue fits the day and age that it's supposed to be taking place in. Like, if your story is supposed to be set in 2024, then the dialogue between characters needs to sound like it's two people in 2024 not like talking to each other. Like, get rid of the old-timey crap. Golly gee willikers, and all that kind of shit. Don't include any of that shit. And don't put any like sappy fucking childish G-rated shit in there either. Like, as a comic book industry, the entire comic book industry needs to understand that its target market these days is people age 16 and up, because no young kids are begging their parents for comics. So the only people buying comics are people who they have an interest in them, and they have their own source of income so they can pay for them, and they have their own method of transportation to get to the comic book store. So you're looking at 16-year-olds and up, because 16-year-olds can have a part-time job in a car and a driver's license. So, and 16-year-olds can handle violence and curse words, and they can handle it being reminiscent of the real world that we all live in. You don't have to sugarcoat it and dumb it down and make it childish and soft and wussy. You can make it realistic. As far as realistic as, like, it is still a fictional universe, I get that, but like, the mindset should be, what would our real world look like if these super beings existed in it? That's what it should be. And I don't know. I want to be optimistic. I want to be optimistic about this thing, because I'm hearing enough rumors about it to where I'm pretty sure it's true. I'm pretty sure that DC really is planning to do an Ultimate Universe style line with Scott Snyder at the helm, and I want to be optimistic about it. I'm just they've fucked up so many times in the past. It's just like they just don't want to fucking listen. Just keep it traditional, keep it basic, same old traditional DC. Just make it just the only changes that need to be made are changes in terms of adapting it to fit a modern era, modern day and age, and updating old costumes that haven't aged well. Other than that, everything should be the same. But my gut's telling me that's not the way they're going to go with it. They're not going to they're not going to do an ultimate DC universe that is set in the year 2024 but is very traditional and typical. They're gonna go wacky, radical, all new, all different, be unique and artsy fartsy with it. That's just what I feel. That's what I worry about anyway. So yeah, but that's my take on it. I just wanted to put that out there because I just found it interesting that a matter of months after I make a video talking about how DC should do an ultimate style universe, they are now, it's the heavy rumors are coming out that that is exactly what they're going to do. So I just wanted to put this out there to spread my opinion on it, and hopefully kind of like if there's anyone else out there that agrees with me, like get the communication flowing online. Like these companies pay attention to what's being said online. So if we all are online talking about how like we want this, we want that, companies will pick up on it. And it looks like we're about to see a change in the entire entertainment industry where it's like companies they stop doing what they want to do and they go back to doing what their consumers want them to do. They look at what's the demand, what is the mass majority of people demanding, what are they asking for? Give them that. Stop focusing on what the fuck you want to do as an individual creator and just shut the fuck up and do what the mass majority of consumers want you to do. Even if that makes you feel like just a fucking worker peon cog in the machine showing up at the office every day doing a job and going home for a paycheck, shut the fuck up and deal with that. Do what the audience and consumers want you to do. It feels like that's what we're going to be getting back to here in the next few years. So I think it's more important than ever that we are all online making our opinions known, telling the markets, telling the companies what we want. So this is me expressing what I would want from a DC Ultimate line. So yeah, take that for what you will. Let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments down below. Get a discussion started. Do you guys agree with me? This new Ultimate DC line, if the rumors are true and it is going down, do you want it to be all new, all radically different for the sake of being different? Or would you prefer if they kind of tried to get back to the basics and do a traditional DC universe just set in modern times? Let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments down below. Let me know. If you like this video, please hit the like button. It really helps out the channel. If you want to help out my channel even more, check out some of my other videos and subscribe. Other than that, I'll talk to you guys later.